Deep in the jungle there lived a gorilla named Gary. Not your average gorilla, mind you. Gary had a bazooka, a big, shiny and slightly intimidating bazooka. He found it on one of his jungle jaunts, discarded and dusty. Gary, curious and a tad bit mischievous, decided to keep it. He wasn't quite sure how to use it, but it looked impressive, propped against his shoulder. The other gorillas kept a respectful distance. They had learned that anything Gary got his hands on usually resulted in some sort of chaotic event, and they weren't wrong. You see, Gary had a nemesis, an enemy so insidious, so utterly vexing, that it made his fur stand on end. Bikes. Yes, those two-wheeled contraptions filled Gary with a rage that could only be described as banana-going-bad levels of fury. It all started with a banana. A perfectly ripe, beautifully yellow banana. Gary had been eyeing it all morning, waiting for the perfect moment to savor its deliciousness. And then, a blur of spokes and a shrill ringing bell sent his prize flying. A bike, ridden by an oblivious monkey, had snatched his banana. Since then, all bikes were dead to Gary. One day, Gary stumbled upon a clearing. In the middle, a sight that made his blood boil, a whole pile of bikes. Gleaming, colourful, and utterly unaware of the impending doom. This was it, the moment Gary had been waiting for. He hefted his bazooka onto his shoulder, a gleam in his eye. The jungle held its breath. With a mighty roar that shook the trees, Gary pulled the trigger. The bazooka coughed out a plume of smoke and, with a sound like 1,000 bananas exploding, launched its payload. The bikes, caught completely off guard, went flying in all directions. They spun through the air, a kaleidoscope of metal and rubber, before landing in a tangled heap. Silence descended on the jungle. Then Gary started to laugh. The clearing was a mess. Bikes lay in various states of disarray. And Gary? He was content. His vendetta, for the moment, was satisfied. He slung his bazooka over his shoulder and ambled off into the jungle, leaving behind a trail of bewildered birds and a lingering smell of banana-scented smoke. The jungle, however, was not at peace. Whispers travelled through the leaves. Word of Gary's destructive rampage reached every corner, and in hushed tones the animals wondered what would be the target of Gary's bazooka next.